That's one of their ways to practice Aghor Kriya.
I came here to ask you some questions. Maybe later. Maybe a little bit later. Maybe.
क्या जिंदा को खा जाए भी चाहो तो हम जिंदा को रख लें कहो तो अपने ही मांस खा के दिखाया कब कहना घोड़ी
I see. Why do...
घोड़ी की मां तो दूं और ज्यादा बोला तो गर्दन काट के खाऊंगा
No! God, please, no! No! No!
feel like this may have been a mistake? Maybe we just, like, somebody distracts him and then I just leave.
Let's see where it goes.
We can be polite. I can be very polite about it.
I think you should say.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and I'm sorry to report, but food is canceled. In fact, well, exotic food, or you're not allowed to call food exotic, I guess. I'm not sure. You know, before I get into the story, no, not a sponsor read. I just want to give a word of encouragement. This stuff stops, like, when we say so. So every time you see some moronic article or some idiot tells you something like this, what you need to respond with is immediate, brutal humiliation. You need to audibly laugh in somebody's face when they tell you this stuff. And that's how it ends. It only exists because we allow it. And it's time to stop. The Washington Post has now opined that calling food exotic reinforces xenophobia and racism. Literally what? Now, the replies, like I said, do provide some faith in humanity, right? I'm not sure who chose the picture of a hamburger for a column about the word choices and ethnocentrism surrounding the word exotic. Just stop using English, the language of imperialism and white supremacy. Who are these articles written for? There must be a market for this kind of fare, but I've never met them in my day-to-day life. Don't click on the article. Articles like this will disappear when they start losing money and they have to print real news. Exactly. This is the Washington Post, not the Onion, I should point out. I mean, first of all, I'm not exactly sure that I've ever called food exotic before, but if I have, it was probably a term of endearment, or I said it ironically. Like, oh, hot dogs and hamburgers, huh? Exotic. Something, you know, something else. Maybe I'm on vacation. I haven't taken a vacation in 20 years, but if I was, I got some sort of local fare, I might say exotic. But at what point is that? I'm not actually saying it's bad. By exoticizing food, even though it's actually accessible, you're assigning it a value that's lower than the status quo. I would love to see a poll on this. I'd bet the vast majority of people don't associate exotic with lower value. Exactly. Nobody does. Exotic seems like something you would want, or that it's rare and coveted. Otherwise, it would be called bland or ho-hum. I mean, if someone wants to call my jambalaya exotic, it's not exactly going to wreck my day. Like the definition of exotic, originating in a distant foreign country. I mean, this is getting out of hand, too woke. I'm really tired of people telling me what words mean. Exotic, originating in or characteristic of distant foreign country, period. I love foreign exotic food. It's a plus in my book and always will be. Stop looking for things to be outraged by and enjoy life. I absolutely love that these, I mean, obviously 340 quote tweets compared to 200 likes. Stop writing articles. This is actually the exact opposite of interesting news. It's divisive, nitpicking nonsense. If someone didn't complain about something, they'd have nothing to say. Food is xenophobic now. Start fasting. I mean, eat the bugs, right? Eat the bugs, live in a pod. What's the other thing? You'll own nothing and be happy. Eat the bugs, live in a pod. I don't remember the third thing. Whatever it is. Perspective. Calling the Washington Post a newspaper reinforces xenophobia. I mean, like, this is the only way. And, like, the Washington Post is a news outlet, I should point out. One of the nicest things about Afghan restaurants is that they appeal to even the most timid of diners. Mark and Gail Barnett wrote in May 16th, 1993 edition of the Post. Your visiting aunt from Spokane, Washington can enjoy an adventure of exotic cuisine with the reassurance of familiar-looking food. The Barnetts meant no harm, no foul, but when they put the word exotic in the review of Bethesda's Sunrise Kebab, they presumptive Anglo-centric perspective on a cuisine based in South Asia says more about how they saw the world than the cuisine itself. Literally, what? That is an excellent review. You know what I hear when I read that review? Somebody says to me, or I'm thinking, maybe I want to try Afghan food. I don't really know what that is. I mean, I doubt a kebab would be, or as New Zealanders say, apparently kebab. I doubt that would be something that I'd be worried about, but it seems reassuring. Like, oh, you want to try something different? Oh, how about Afghan? Oh, I read this review that says it's actually like pretty close to what you're normally eating, so it's not going to be a big shock to your system. I don't see that as negative. After I wrote about 7-minute, 7-ingredient ramen in early March, I received the first several emails from readers complaining or gently chiding me for including exotic species or spices or condiments in my Eat Voraciously newsletter. Your offerings tend to be exotic foreign cuisine that we wouldn't even order in a restaurant or certainly aren't interested in cooking at home, one reader wrote. Another complained about the exotic ingredients in some recipes and asked if I could please try to pick some recipes featuring ingredients that are readily available. Again, exotic can also mean difficult to find. If I'm cooking something, which I haven't done in also about 20 years, and if it requires 2 to 3 spices that I have no idea even how to pronounce, I'm not cooking that thing. So if I'm subscribed to some sort of recipe blog and they're constantly suggesting bizarre, like, cheeses, exotic cheeses that I can't find anywhere outside of a butcher or like a high-end cheese store? Is that where you get high-end cheeses? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, maybe a high-end grocery store. I get my cheese in a single slice and individually wrapped. But I would unsubscribe from that. I think that's a reasonable complaint. Reading the word hit me like a slap. And initially, I wasn't even sure why. Did they think the dish sounded odd or disgusting? Or were these ingredients simply hard for them to find? Yes, they were just hard to find. The idea that, this is an entire article written and complaining about somebody calling food exotic. I have never heard the word exotic used in reference to something that is white, says Chandra D.L. Waring, professor of sociology, University of Massachusetts. I actually guarantee you that has happened, that people have called American food exotic in other countries if they've seen it, especially some of the more, like some of the gastro stuff or like the, cutting edge kind of food cooking stuff. I'm sure it would be exotic to them. You know what exotic means? Other or different from dominant white perspective, because no one ever says, I'm going on an exotic vacation. I'm going to Lowell, Massachusetts. No one ever says, let's go to that exotic new restaurant. Let's go into McDonald's. I don't know, but so what? McDonald's is not exotic. It's readily available everywhere. It's a part of the cultural zeitgeist. There's McDonald's in every country on this planet practically. So by definition, there's nothing exotic about McDonald's, regardless of your skin color. I can't imagine anyone calling a Big Mac an exotic sandwich. Oh, really? Why don't you try going, someplace in Africa and see what they think about a Big Mac? I don't know. This person is making that assumption, but I'm sure that some people think that a burger with all sorts of stuff on it is exotic. I don't know. Like ethnic and alien. The word exotic was invented to describe something foreign. It comes from the Greek prefix exo, or outside. It used to mean alien or foreign, and that is an archaic definition. It's part of the world's legacy, according to Merriam-Webster. By the way, written by somebody who doesn't actually care what words mean. I mean, hearing something described as exotic conjures a few specific images. An explorer peeking through a dense jungle with binoculars, peering curiously at the people or flora or fauna in the clearing. Hunters in pursuit of wild game. That sounds like this sounds like you have a problem with the word exotic. When I hear exotic, I think of maybe like going to what do you call like a Hawaiian restaurant, and there's like lays there and big drinks with little umbrellas in it, or going, it doesn't have to be I don't think that really works for anybody. Nobody's thinking of some jungle explorer peering through binoculars when they hear the word exotic. The exoticism of food wasn't something sociologists, an NYU food studies professor, how do you get that job? Krishnendu Ray devoted much time early in his career. He wrote a book called The Ethnic Restaurateur. It's a topic he's considered more carefully. I'm not even going to pay any mind to this. You have, just a sheltered child. By exoticizing a food, even though it's actually accessible, you're assigning it a value that's lower than the status quo. Here's the link. Yeah, this quote destroys this entire argument. Nobody says the word exotic and thinks it's garbage. It's just not the way that word is used. So I don't understand how you can, your own article contains a quote that is hilariously incorrect. And of course, look, oh God, I can't even. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave, if you can, leave a like on it. Click that red subscribe button down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.